Well, good afternoon and welcome to Midcap Radar. I'm Vivek and with me today is Reema Tendulkar. Hi Reema, good afternoon. Well, markets have given up a bit of the gains, especially when you're talking about the mid-cap index as well as the small-cap index. Both of them have cooled off quite significantly from the day's highest point. As you can see on the top of the screen, the benchmark indices are in the green, but it's the broad end of the markets that are taking a bit of a beating.
Indeed, the mid-cap index takes a beating while the market gives up early gains. Trades at the day's low. IT, FMCG are the key gainers. Pharma and metal slip.
Two-wheeler players clocked strong sales in August, as do SUV makers in the passenger vehicle segment. But commercial vehicle sales hit a rough patch.
Gujarat State Corporation and Gujarat State Petronet will merge into subsidiary Gujarat Gas, while the transmission vertical will be spun off into a separate entity. Analysts see significant gains from synergies, cost and tax savings following the scheme of arrangement.
IOCL, BPCL and HPCL surge in trade after the OMC slashed ATF prices by nearly 5% and also increased the rate for 19 kilogram commercial liquid natural gas cylinders by 39 rupees.
Rossell India surges after aerospace defense business demerger takes effect. The scheme of arrangement between the company and Rossell Texas was approved by the NCLT in April.
Well, it's the middle of the trading session. We are looking at the mid-cap index, and the mid-cap index and the small-cap index after the record rally are seeing a bit of profit booking emerge from the day's highest point. In fact, if you pull up the mid-cap index, it's down over 500 points, from the day's highest point. And it's a similar story as far as the small-cap index is concerned. Which are the sectors that today are seeing a bit of selling pressure? First up is the pharma pack. Most of the pharma stocks today are under pressure. The Nifty Pharma Index, again, trading near the day's lowest point. And the other pack that's seeing quite a bit of selling pressure is actually the metal index. So metal stocks today, especially names like SAIL, Nalco, Hindalco, these are some of the stocks today that are seeing some selling pressure. Reema, what are you looking at?
Well, I'm looking at the fall that we're seeing in Indus Stars and Vodafone Idea. So some profit booking visible there. Indus Stars is down 5.5%. Paytm under pressure. And Ola Electric, where news reports suggest that they may have ceded their top space to some of the competitors. Ola Electric too is weak, and Zomato is giving it company with a similar 2.8% cut. But let's now go across to Hormuz. He's standing by with the mid-cap movers of the day. Hormuz.
Well, it's not very often that you highlight the broader markets with plenty of losers, so I'll buck the trend a little and I'll start off with stocks that are gaining within the broader markets. There are some of them that are doing well in today's session. First Source Solutions is one of them, and shouldn't come as a surprise because that is what it has been doing over the last month or so, and 5.5% higher at the highest point of the day, as is Sona BLW, another 5.5% there as well. Radico Khaitan building on to Friday's gains, and HPCL having a good day at the office, slightly off the lows of the day, but still trading with gains of around 3%. The stock, the sector, the group of the day has to be the stocks that are in the Gujarat Gas space. Gujarat Gas is up almost 10% now after the deal impact, and GSPL also at the highest point of the day, now 4% higher in today's trading session. The PSUs were supposed to be in focus all through today. The Navratna stocks that were given an upgrade, SJVN and NHPC, Railtel, all off the highs of the day, but trying to hold on to some sort of gains in today's session. All of them were up at least 4 to 5% at the start of trade. Stocks that are doing well at the back of very strong volumes in today's session. Godrej Industries seeing a bit of choppy moves, but on very strong volumes, still 3% higher. Aegis Logistics is the other one, almost 7.5% higher in today's session. And Bajaj Holdings as well at the highest point of the day, another 5.5% in today's session. But stocks that are not doing well, there are a lot of them, but we'll highlight a few. As Reema just mentioned, Vodafone Idea and Indus Towers both at the lowest point of the day now. Vodafone Idea down for the second day in a row. Jindal Stainless down to the lowest point of the day now, 6% lower. And Dixon Technologies, after the management said that the FY25 growth is going to be slower, the stock is down 4.5%. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much for that, Hormal. Quite a few stocks that are seeing quite a bit of a sharp sell-off today, especially some of the telecom names. Let's now shift focus to Sharda Cropchem. Their subsidiary, Sharda USA LLC, has received an order from the US court which temporarily prohibits import and sale of insecticides. To discuss this and more, we have Mr. R.V. Bubna, the Chairman and Managing Director at Sharda Cropchem, who joins us now. Good afternoon, Mr. Bubna. Thank you so much for joining us. First, take us through this particular development. What was the percentage of sales that you were getting from this particular product? And has this particular temporary restraining order been extended to any other products that you are exporting to the US market?
Sir, what is your good name?
I am Vivek.
Vivek. Sir, we have issued a very good clarification to NSE and BSE on this matter. I don't know, I think you have not had a chance to read it.
We've had a chance to look at it. We want to understand whether there is any cascading effect or whether there is any temporary restraining order on any of the other products. We understand that this particular product on which there is a restraining order forms a very small portion of your overall US sales.
Sir, I have already informed them that this product forms 0.2% of the volume of US for Sharda. 0.2%.
Okay.
So it has a very negligible effect.
Okay. Any other products in the pipeline? Is there any other products that are currently undergoing litigation with FMC?
No. No. In fact, FMC is buying sometimes from us. FMC is also a good customer.
Okay, sir. So do you continue to stick to the earlier guidance that you had given, when you joined us after your Q1 results, when you told us that you're expecting significant top-line growth as far as FY24 is concerned? And you also mentioned that there is some pricing increases that you're seeing as far as the core product portfolio is concerned.
About this matter, I want to clarify again. This matter has been going into the court, I think, for last 2-3 months. Initially, court has rejected FMC's plea and gave the decision in our favor. Once again, when FMC is appealed to them, they have given it as a temporary stoppage, and they have also asked FMC to deposit a bond of $500,000 to compensate Sharda for loss of this business during the period of this temporary stay. So that itself shows that this has no significance and no impact on Sharda's business.
Okay. So now that we've discussed this matter, and now let's just set it aside and talk about, business as usual for you. How has the second quarter been for you? What are we seeing in terms of growth rates?
Madam, second quarter we are still going on, and
yes.
I still maintain that our business will grow by 15 to 18%, and EBITDA will be also in the range of 15 to 18%. Business is doing well.
So last time when you came, you told us top line growth of 15 to 18%, gross margin in the range of 30 to 35%. You're maintaining that. You also mentioned one thing about, you may get a certain amount of funds from FMC in case this particular matter is disposed. What was the quantum you mentioned?
No, we will not. If it takes more time, and if Sharda is going to lose business of this product in US, then FMC will be required to compensate us for the loss incurred for not doing this business. And for this purpose, FMC has been asked by the court to submit a bond to the court of USD $500,000 to take care that Sharda, there's not much of a time in settlement of our claim if we make a loss during the period of this temporary stay. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. So what is 0.2% of your US sales in absolute numbers?
0.2% of this product last year had been 0.2% of our total sale in US.
Correct,
So
sir.
this product is so insignificant for us, it's not going to have any impact on our US business or our global business.
No, I understand that, 0.2% of your US sales, but what is it in absolute terms? How much did this product contribute last year in absolute numbers, sir?
About $160,000.
$160,000. Okay.
Okay.
And how has pricing been for you in the current quarter? Because
Pardon
last
me?
quarter, I remember, so how is pricing getting back to business? In Q1, we saw some price increases, and you were hopeful that price increases will, continue. Has that happened in Q2? How much?
price increasing going up. So prices are becoming more favorable and the market and the prices are getting towards normalcy.
Could you give us a sense or could you quantify when you say pricing is improving, what is the kind of pricing that you're seeing? And also, last couple of quarters you are facing significant inventory pressure. Has that reduced across, the customers?
It has reduced considerably.
And the quantum of pricing increase? Yeah.
It is difficult to see. We don't have any calculation for that. This is just the impression that we get from the market and how the things are moving. The prices had collapsed by almost 75% in some products. Now the improvement is not going to be so quick also. The process will take time, but it is on the way up.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Bubna, first of all, for coming and clarifying on the impact of the temporary restraining order. We understand at this point of time it doesn't form a significant part of your business, and also talking to us about how pricing as well as Q2 has panned out. Let's now slip into a short break. On the other side, we will focus on the big news of the day, that is Gujarat Gas, which will undergo a major restructuring scheme. Harshvardhan Dole from IIFL will join us to talk to us more on this particular development. Welcome back to Midcap Radar. Well, the top story of the day is Gujarat Gas, and the stock is buzzing today as the board has approved the merger as well as the demerger plans. Harshvardhan Dole, Senior Vice President of Institutional Equities at IIFL, joins us. Good afternoon, Mr. Dole. Thank you so much for joining us. First up, what is your take on the situation? The analyst community is quite divided. A few of them have actually gone ahead and upgraded Gujarat Gas, saying that this particular deal is EPS accretive. But I believe you have a more moderate view of this particular development.
Hi, Vivek. So I think the deal is great if you view it from shareholders of GSPL and government of Gujarat, because what it enables is it eliminates the holding company discount that otherwise GSPL shareholders were cribbing about, and it also eliminates the web of complex shareholding through various Gujarat and Gujarat state-owned entities into the underlying cash-generating value accretive business of Gujarat Gas. And to that extent, I must congratulate the architect of this deal. It's a great deal from Gujarat government and GSPL shareholders' perspective. So all full marks to them. However, if you value the deal or perceive the deal from a minority shareholder of Gujarat Gas, for them, the merger can be greatly value accretive provided there is a sustainability in terms of gas sourcing. And apart from the tax shelter, which the company might enjoy for a couple of years, if the other businesses can add great value to it. As of now, based on the initial discussions with the management over the conference call and our cursory reading, it appears that the merger synergies, or what you may call as levers for value creation, seem to be quite limited. And therefore, we prefer to take a more cautious view rather than taking a blindfold view or rather a leap of faith. We would like to evaluate the situation as it unfolds over the next few quarters. That's the sum and substance of our view. I think it's a great deal from GSPL shareholders' perspective, but not so great deal when it comes to shareholder of Gujarat Gas.
But Gujarat Gas share price, Harsh, has gone up close to about 10%. So the street is clearly, cheering this transaction. So, what is it that, the street is missing, and what would your own target price be? I know you've explained it, that why it's negative for minority shareholders, but it's at odds with the way the market is reacting today.
Sure. So, clearly, if you were to build in the tax shelter and some amount of tax, essentially leakages, which otherwise were happening on account of GSPC selling gas to Gujarat Gas, there is definitely some accretion to the EBITDA. And to that extent, it will be unfair to say that there is no gain to Gujarat Gas, and which is what we have articulated in our note, that if you assume a seamless execution, that 3-4 rupees of gas saving occur to Gujarat Gas, then fair value for the total amalgamated entity can be in excess of 700 rupees. However, for that to unfold, one has to source gas very efficiently, retain the entire benefit, not pass it on to price-sensitive customers like Morbi, and give a very liberal price to earnings or EV/EBITDA multiple. So probably some investors would like to price such benefit upfront rather than they unfolding over a period in time. It's a perspective.
Harshvardhan, one question from when you're talking about the valuation multiple, currently Gujarat Gas enjoys a valuation multiple based on the regulated CNG business. Now, however, there is now volatile trading business that comes into its fold. So would you go ahead and temper down the valuation multiple that you give to Gujarat Gas as this particular earnings comes into the picture? And number two, currently on ground, how's the situation when you compare Gujarat Gas to other sources that Morbi players can actually enjoy?
So Gujarat Gas traditionally has been trading at a significantly higher multiples for its great revenue model. For example, it is insulated from the EV risk, which otherwise IGL or MGL were susceptible to. Here is an industrial portfolio which enjoys relatively higher pricing in terms of, pricing freedom in terms of sourcing the gas and pricing it. That, however, may change over a period in time. And therefore, in my opinion, the long-term EV/EBITDA multiple may converge to that of IGL or MGL. So that's something we'll keenly watch out for as to how the amalgamation plays out in terms of sourcing of gas and eventual pricing of the gas. As far as other businesses are concerned, Vivek, let's see, what additional information emerges as to how do they restructure the LNG terminal, where currently they are a minority shareholder, and how can they unlock value for the minority shareholders. So we'll keep a watch, we'll gather more data points and take more educated call rather than reacting based on sketchy information which is available.
Harshvardhan, so, what is the pecking order for you as far as the oil and gas space is concerned? Which are topics and which are the ones you don't prefer?
So at the moment, we find extremely high value in terms of the PSUs, which is the upstream as well as the downstream OMCs. We find the payoffs to be asymmetric. The upside to downside ratio is extremely favorable for a value investor. And to that extent, we like all the five. If I were to pick two, probably I will pick BPCL and ONGC at this price.
Okay, Harsh, we'll leave the conversation here. Thank you very much for joining in. The Nifty is now hovering around 25,260. Remember, it started trade above 25,300, but as the days progressed, we have seen the markets cool off, particularly between 12:30 and 1. There was a bit of a slide in the markets and some profit booking set in. We will slip into a very short break. We'll come back and talk about individual stocks. There's a stock called Rossell India, which is on our Midcap Spotlight segment, so stay tuned for that. Welcome back. As promised, let's talk about Rossell India. That's a stock on our Midcap Spotlight. Upasna is joining in for more. Upasna.
Well, that's correct. Rossell India remains in focus on the back of demerger of its aerospace and defense business. Mind you, in April 2024, NCLT approved scheme of arrangement between Rossell India and Rossell Texas. The scheme of arrangement became operative from 30th August 2024. As a part of the scheme, Rossell Texas division has been separated from Rossell India and transferred to Rossell Texas Limited. Consequently, Rossell Texas will no longer be a wholly owned subsidiary of Rossell India. Now let us understand what is the key objective behind this. Company says it aims to create a dedicated tech vertical with a focused attention on aerospace and defense business under the name of Rossell Texas Limited. The company's core dedicated T vertical will continue under the name of Rossell India. Now let us understand what are the key benefits indicated by the company. Company says that the demerger will enable streamlining of both the operations of the company and will further enhance efficiencies and better management control going forward. Hence, Rossel India remains in focus today on the back of the demerger.
Thank you. 5% gain on that. NHPC, SJVN and RailTel are also higher in trade. And it's the Navratna status which has got the street excited. How material is it?
Well, very interesting you asked that because, we always struggle to go ahead and find, the materiality of this particular development. Even other PSUs, especially rail PSUs, actually had received Navratna status in the past. So first up, who gives the Navratna statements? It's actually the Department of Public Enterprises who grants the Navratna status to these companies. And in this particular case, it's NHPC, SJVN as well as RailTel who've received the status. What does this mean? Number one, they get the status on the back of much improved financial performance over a period of time. Along with that, there is also increased financial as well as operational independence that the companies get, especially in the case of some of the rail PSUs. They can go ahead and join announced JVs. They can get into MOUs, memorandum of understandings, both internal as well as with export or other country companies. Now remember, a lot of companies like RVNL have actually entered into JVs with companies in Israel as well as the Middle East. So this is something that we will watch out for some of these PSUs today as well. Along with that, these companies can invest up to 1,000 crores independently without central government approval. So that also acts as a positive kicker for these companies. It's largely a sentiment positive, but there is increased operational independence, which is what the street likes for all three of these names.
Okay, thank you very much for that. InfoEdge has released the jobs peak data for the month of August. Remember, July was a positive surprise, particularly on the IT front. But this time, the jobs peak index for the month gone by is down 3.5% on a year-on-year basis and down about 1.1, on a month-on-month basis too. So it's reversed the growth seen last month, and IT sector continues to still be tepid. They showed some green shoots in the prior month, but this time the overall IT sector has seen a modest growth of just 1% on a year-on-year basis. Remember, IT is the biggest contributor to Naukri's growth and revenues, at least in terms of individual verticals. That has been under pressure for the last 2 years. So the street is awaiting that when will the IT hiring recover, because that will boost the growth for Naukri business. Education and telecom saw the biggest drop. They're down about 11 to 13% on a year-on-year basis. Insurance saw a fair bit of pickup, 29% growth on a year-on-year basis.
Well, very interesting there. Naukri, on the back of that has actually seen a bit of a fall, almost 1.5% lower. But, that's all the time we have on this edition of Midcap Radar. Stay tuned.